13th. Testing 1, 2.
Welcome to Jerry's Cafe.
We are a destination cafe, and we offer craft food and beverages, meaning we make everything fresh on site when you order. And all of our food and our beverages are prepared and served by adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
And then lastly, just say the name. Tom? There you go. Enjoy. My favorite part of working at Jerry's Cafe is definitely interacting with friends I've met throughout the years and the espresso machine.
My co-founder Amy Philpott and I opened Jerry's Cafe for job opportunities. And a staggering statistic tells us that 80% of adults with disabilities are unemployed. I believe differently, and this is the place where our employees can work and feel proud and contribute and can see that they have value and purpose, and they are given the responsibility that anyone would be given in a job, and we expect nothing less than them to perform at their highest level. So we see great success in every single employee and their independence and their offerings and activities here at Jerry's Cafe.
The large, hot, white chocolate pumpkin pie with whipped cream, it is to die for. It is delicious. It's amazing. Well, the favorite part of working here is that I get to serve customers. I am a cashier. They understand to include people with us with exceptionalities.
I wanted to tell you, I've been watching you today. You're really good at your job. You're doing great.
I always like to serve customers. Customers go first.
We are super proud of our partnership with District 214. District 214 has been a supporter from the very beginning of our foundation, and several of the schools have done fundraising and helped us get our doors open to Jerry's Cafe. Proudly, we have 12 or 13 graduates from the District 214 schools who will work at Jerry's Cafe as our active employees.
This is where we do our salad prep. This is where we make all the salads. And then over here is the sandwich line. This is where we make all of our sandwiches. I have worked here since day one. I love it here. I love my supportive team members, and I like serving customers. Here is one chicken Mediterranean trip salad.
We know that our community members have lots of choices, but we're hoping that you will come and choose Jerry's Cafe.
Thank you.
When you come inside and engage with our employees, you feel a sense of joy, and you will start your day feeling the best way that you can, with a joyful heart and knowing that Jerry's Cafe has provided you with delicious coffee, breakfast, or lunch.
Test 1, 2, 3.
All right, welcome to our 55th year of putting together an incredible community service project through our SOS class here at John Hersey High School. As you can see around me, it is organized chaos, but it is an incredible day for our students to serve our community by packaging and collecting food that's going to be going to local food pantries in our area to support those in need.
We're really happy to be able to do the food drive here at Hersey because it really just brings the whole school together, and we are able to help our community and bring the energy with everyone here.
Take it out.
For the past, I would say about 2 months, we've been kind of working together with SOS, Junior Leaders, Baseball, and we've all gathered together. We've done bag and tag with 12 different communities, and we've all come together, and it's really amazing to see the turnout. And then later on, we're going to be visiting 8 local food pantries, and it's really exciting. We're just thankful for everyone who's helped each other along the way. It's been really fun.
It's a team effort, but it's been so fun.
Test audio 1, 2, 3, 4.
Prospect Marching Knights are heading to D.C.
We're in Washington, D.C.
Prospect Marching Knights were invited to travel to Washington, D.C. this year for Veterans Day. So we're taking the band out to our nation's capital. We're going to do some great tours of some of the monuments and the museums and a lot of the sites of D.C. But it all culminates with performances on Veterans Day. So we've been working really hard to prepare, and we're so excited for our students to have this opportunity. Throughout the trip, we had a few opportunities where veterans would actually see our group of students out and about and spoke to our students. So in addition to touring these places, our students were able to actually interact with a number of veterans over the course of the trip, which kind of made everything a little more real and genuine and authentic. So our first day in DC was really impactful and gave our students sort of a big picture overview of the city and some of the history, and really set the stage for our performance day coming up. So on Veterans Day, our morning started off with a performance at the Lincoln Memorial. There we were, right on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, facing the Washington Monument. Just a really special opportunity for our students to have a really great place to perform.
It was an honor to perform on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with the PMK, where so much of America's history has taken place.
The experience was very impactful for me. It was a unique opportunity that I have never had before, and it was something that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
One of our students, Emily Pollock, was also asked to deliver a speech at the Lincoln Memorial.
I've always wanted to help people, so I'm going to serve my country. More specifically, I want to become an officer in the military.
Her speech was really wonderful and got a really great reception at the event. In fact, after the event was over, I had a number of veterans come track me down to tell me how great her speech was, and actually they wanted to meet her and take pictures with her because they were so moved by what she had to say.
My father served in the Navy, and so he instilled in me the value of serving and caring for our veterans and those who serve us. And so being able to thank them today and place medals around their shoulders and welcome them home was really impactful for me as well.
United States Air Force.
It was an honor to play at the World War II Memorial today. It was such an honor because music is a way to share emotions without using words.
Our performances in DC got a lot of really good responses. One of them, a story was told to me by one of our chaperones, that there was literally a Marine veteran who was at a performance at the Iwo Jima Memorial who was literally in tears watching the performance and just expressed to our chaperone how much it meant to him that this group of teenagers from the Chicago area had come out there and was performing, and he was just really moved by it, and I thought that was just a really neat story to hear coming out of the performance. So any trip like this takes a lot of time and energy to put together. I feel really fortunate that our school was very supportive of this endeavor. We had a bunch of parents who traveled with us and did anything they could to make this a great experience for our students. I'm so glad we were able to bring our students to DC. Veterans Day seemed like a perfect time to bring them, and it really, just in the end, I think the whole trip turned out really, really great, and I'm so happy we were able to make it happen.
We're super excited to have the 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit here at Hersey High School. As the truck arrived, we had Hersey parents out front with some patriotic balloons. We had Hersey students lining the sidewalks. We had some, mini American flags like they would show on the honor flights. The spirit was high.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Stephen Siller Tunnel of Towers mobile exhibit. We have a 50-foot trailer, approximately 1,100 square feet exhibit. We travel our nation to commemorate the brave sacrifice of the firefighters, police officers that gave their life that day in the greatest rescue and recovery effort in our nation's history.
The reason we're here is at Hersey High School to come educate our youth on the happenings of that day, but also the happenings of the days after, and to let them know that it was a huge tragedy. It was the single largest loss of life day we've ever had. It was also the largest rescue we've ever had as well, but just all the good that has come from that tragic day. And they're going to learn things that they can't read about. They're going to hear stories that some have never been told, some have been told many times.
Stephen Siller was one of the 343 firefighters that died that morning. He was getting off duty that morning. He was going to play golf with his older brothers, heard the plane strike, heard on the news that the plane struck the building, turned around, drove back to his firehouse, Squad 1, located in downtown Brooklyn. They had already been dispatched to the disaster. He got his gear, drove his own truck to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, where he donned 60 pounds of gear, ran 2.5 miles through the tunnel, mustered up with the rest of the firefighters, and gave his life that day, honoring his oath that he took to protect life and property.
So this is about remembering. So we want people to remember, obviously, for adults to remember and for the kids to learn. So we don't want this forgotten. It's not taught in most schools in America. And they have the privilege of talking to people who are there. We can't talk to people who were in the Civil War or these other moments in American history, but they can. And I think that's pretty special. Thanks for having us, and this means more to us than you. This means a lot to these kids, and these kids would be great. They're very respectful. They listen. It's nice to see.
A special thanks, especially to the FDNY crew, to the Siller Foundation, to Soldiers Journey Home, to District 214, to all of Hersey. I'm grateful for everybody. A special shout out to Bill Dustin for the magic spirit. Special shout out to Chief Harris, Arlington Heights Police. The coolest part about this project was there's like a whole bunch of people that were on it and did it. It wouldn't have happened without a whole bunch of people. The list is just too long, and to me, that's actually a good thing to celebrate.
This is the Rolling Meadows Band alumni event, so we decided to get the band back together. This year being the 40th anniversary of the Jazz and Meadows Festival, so it was kind of an opportunity to, hey, can we bring people back at homecoming? I had talked to some of the previous band directors, so that's Len King in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. We had Bill Jastrow and David Boggs from the 90s, and then of course Chris Booty, who retired several years ago. Those people set the foundation for everything that we have here.
I'm giving you a hug if that's okay.
Oh my God, look at you. I'd have paid money to be here tonight. I really would have. It's one of those things that I'd pay money to be here. This is the band reunion where your closest friends were really at in high school. And so you're with your closest friends and regrouping after 40-something years and going, holy cow.
Yeah. Mr. King is the reason why I'm here today, not just at the school, but what I do in life. I owe everything to Mr. King. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have gone to college. And if I hadn't gone to college, who knows what I would be doing.
Some of the stuff that we're doing right now is like we never stop doing it, just to be around these guys again and just hanging out. 40 years seems like a long time, but it seems like it's kind of a short time too,
This is fantastic. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but not this good. 52 of my actual students are in this group. I get a lot of feedback from them telling me how much they enjoyed the music program with me and how they appreciate music for their life. That's really special because to know that they are still thinking about me and what we did here, it's just very satisfying.
Well, I flew back, and I'm glad I did, you know, especially to see Mr. King. He meant a lot to us. He just brought in the jazz, and I mean, we had world-class, you know, experience that most kids never would have had, you know, a real depth of exposure to great music because of Mr. King, so I'm glad I got to see him.
It's so fun to be back, though. I love it. My family's here. They're so excited.
So is my family.
Yeah.
My son's here. My husband's here. So
Yeah.
it's really great.
If you are on the fence of coming, whether debating about whether to come or not, you should definitely come next time. It feels like a long time ago, but in some ways, like you never left. Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna go march over to the stadium and we're gonna play for the football team. So yeah, okay.
Thank you to all the alumni who are coming here today. I mean, some people are traveling across the country. I know one of the directors came from Arizona. That's a testament to really what this event is about, and it's bringing people together through our shared love of music and how music has changed our lives and shaped who we are as humans.
Alumni, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
everybody could take their seats.
Hold on, I want the chairs.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the business meeting of Township High School District 214 Board of Education for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Could the secretary please call the roll?
Dustling.
Here.
Fiorito.
Here.
Heineman.
Present.
Palmer. Present. Rauch. Walker.
Here.
Kreutzer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Walker.
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from January 23rd, both open and closed. Motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Walker.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is our district service awards. Mr. Nagy, please.
Will you and Dr. Rowe please join me over here? Tonight we have the privilege of recognizing individuals who have impacted our schools and programs. These individuals give selflessly, go above and beyond, and dedicate their time and energy to enriching the lives of others. The honorees we celebrate this evening have helped shape District 214 in meaningful ways. Their leadership, unwavering commitment, and tireless efforts have benefits our students, staff, and community. In District 214, we often speak about preparing students for futures we cannot yet imagine. These volunteers have embraced that vision, stepping up to support, guide, and inspire. Your program contains their stories, and these individuals serve, lead, coordinate, and plan. They stay up late and wake up early, never seeking recognition, but always making a difference for our students. Tonight, we take this opportunity to express our deep gratitude. The District 214 Board of Education staff members will present each honoree with the 24-25 Distinguished Service Award as a sign of our appreciation. While we are fortunate to have many incredible volunteers in District 214, this recognition is reserved for a select few each year who have gone above and beyond. District 214 staff, please join your honoree at the front to introduce yourself as well as your honoree. We will proceed in the order listed in the program booklet. Honorees, at the end of the program, please return to the front for a group photograph. So let's begin. If I could please have Dr. Laz Lopez and Mark Cook come up to present the District Administration Center Award.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Cook. I'm the District Program Administrator for the Wildstang Robotics Program, and I'm happy to introduce Rhonda Thomas as the recipient of the Distinguished Service Award. Rhonda is a parent volunteer for the Wildstang Robotics Program, serving for the last 6 years. She's helped in just about every way a parent can volunteer. She's chaperoned trips, orders and sells spiritware, dine and donate fundraisers, and serves in the Wildstang Robotics Support Association, the parent organization. For any event for the whole team, Rhonda's there helping set up, take down. She's wonderful. So when I congratulated her on winning this award, she says, "Mark, I bleed tie-dye." So So I'm wearing my tie-dye socks. So that's Rhonda. She does whatever she can to help in whatever way she can, and we're so thankful for her. Thank you. Next up, I'll be presenting the Community Education Award. Dave Jacobson, if you could please join us up front. Dave has been making a big difference as a volunteer math tutor with the adult education program in community education. A retired math teacher who spent decades at Prospect High School, Dave came back last February to help adult secondary education students with their math, picking right up where he left off from volunteering in the past. Dave focuses on geometry and linear functions, essential topics for the GED math module, and his patient, clear teaching style has been a huge help to students tackling tough concepts. Thanks to his guidance, many ASC students have earned their high school diploma, gaining the confidence to take big steps forward in their lives. Beyond teaching, Dave also volunteers at the Buddy Foundation Animal Shelter. He really enjoys helping others. And I like this tonight because normally he's been one of my first calls for VIP photographer. He's also a photographer for events. And he's normally that person over there taking photos, and I love that we get to recognize him tonight up here. So Dave, congratulations, sir. Next up, if we could have Principal Wardle from Buffalo Grove High School.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Wardle, and it's a privilege to serve at Buffalo Grove High School as the principal there. And I'm honored tonight to talk about our rock star, Emily Morrison. Emily is someone that we see in the building all the time. And in a job like this, you get to meet a lot of volunteers. And then there's someone that comes along now and then that you really couldn't run the school without. And that certainly for us is Emily. It started about 10 years ago when her oldest daughter, Maddie, who's here celebrating tonight as well, walked through our doors, and she came with. And in the last 10 years or so, she has served as president of every single one of our parent music organizations. She has organized and decorated. She has ironed. She has made clothes. I saw her this year decorating for a club. Her kids aren't even in cheer. Like, she's here just decorating our building. She wants to make sure that every kid feels like they belong at BG. No matter who it is, whether kids are involved or not. And it's last year, and actually I just noticed the boot again today. I was just thinking, Emily had a boot on almost last year. I think she got 12,000 steps in every day in a boot at BG all the time. Nothing slows her down. She's just amazing. She raised 3 amazing kids. Two are here with us tonight. 2 of the 3 are already in college or out studying music, and the last one we will see and might do that as well. Just amazing. So we are so proud of you. You're an absolute rock star, and thank you so much for all you do. Yeah.
Look who's talking.
Next up, we have two schools that are recognizing an individual for his service. I'd like to please have Principal Kelly and Principal Kelly please come up from Elk Grove and William Meadows High School. I believe your honoree was not able to make it up due to weather from traveling, okay? But I will turn it over to you two for remarks.
Thank you. No problem. So my colleague and I here, we had a brilliant idea, which was to recognize somebody who serves both of our communities thoroughly. And being in Elk Grove Township, we have somebody very, very special, Paul Piak, that we wanted to recognize with this award. So we had the wonderful, brilliant, novel idea, let's share an honoree. Well, Mr. Piak had an even more brilliant, wonderful idea, which was to retire and relocate to a warm climate. So all of a sudden, he's in Alabama and unable to attend because of weather. So then I get out here, it's 13 degrees, and I understand exactly why he did that. But Paul has been wonderful for our schools and done amazing work that Megan will talk a little bit about.
So just to share a little bit about Paul, who we're sad to miss this evening, but whose legacy really does carry on in both of our schools and our communities. The Elk Grove Township began a cereal bowl competition between Rolling Meadows and Elk Grove High Schools 9 years ago. And at the beginning of its inception, Rolling Meadows lost, and then lost again and again and again. And so when I got to Meadows last year, and Elk Grove was the winner repeatedly and had a big cereal bowl trophy, I didn't quite understand the whole event. This year, with some new leadership in my own building, what I've seen, and through the partnership with Paul, is the power of coming together. And that really is our focus at Meadows. And what's been really amazing and remarkable about this event is that it brings two school communities together to serve families in need. When the cereal bowl started, the Township Food Pantry was serving about 110 families a month, and now they're over 1,000 families a month. So this year, we collected a record number of cereal boxes between our two schools. Rolling Meadows was triumphant, but I had to say that. He knew that was going to happen. But the reality is we collected over 7,000 boxes of cereal, and which is more than double what we've collected in any other year. And that's a testament to Paul and his vision. And we're sad that he's not here tonight, but again, his legacy carries on.
Thank you, Principal Kelly and Principal Kelly. Appreciate that. Next up, if I could have Principal McFall from Hersey High School and your honoree as well.
Tonight it is my honor to introduce our distinguished service guest, Mr. John Dallas. John has been instrumental at Hersey over the last several years with our entrepreneurship program, as well as being a DECA judge. And I first met John last year during pitch night. And I had heard a lot about him beforehand, and then there was a very soft-spoken man in the corner who didn't say much until we had our judge breakout session, and then he just started rolling. And if you've met John, it just kept on going. I sat back and was just in awe by the meaningful feedback he was providing us as judges, but then it came time for him to sit with students. And the way that he interacted with students, spoke their language, got down to their level, and made real and lasting impressions on their lives was remarkable. And we have a student with us tonight who's also here just because of that reason. And you know, if John walks through our hallways, there's a lot of high fives and there's a lot of things that people say nicely about him. But to his face, last year, I know that there was a young man who said, you know, Mr. Dallas said he was going to be here today, and I don't know where he is. I'm not sure if he's going to be here. Has he gotten here yet? You were already in the room with his sleeves rolled up, and he came in, he's like, oh, he's already here waiting for me. And that's just true to John. He's there for kids. He works hard on their behalf, and we're lucky to have him as part of our group here at Hersey High School. John is the CEO and founder of Enclave Academy, a Chicago-based think tank, and a business ecosystem that's just brought a tremendous wealth of knowledge and experience to our students. So thank you, John.
So I've been invited to make a comment or two, if I may. Is that I just I was told. But this is my 10th year in love with District 214. I am just so enthralled with the legitimacy, the authenticity, the reality of how District 214 treats its students. And it's just a remarkable thing for me as a 25-year resident on the lakefront of Chicago to come out to the suburbs every day and then fall in love with the school district out here. But it was until meeting Paul Kelly, which is back in 2016 and 2017, and his team at Elk Grove High School, that was my first introduction. And to work with his wonderful wife and having a full day of a retreat in our building, which was terrific, and then Paul and Kyle Barrett and Laz Lopez, who I think is, there he is, and all these great people. So what I sensed is they have a sense of doing the good that's theirs to do, to prepare the students for us, the employer, for the people outside. And Dr. David Schuler, Dr. Rowe's predecessor, was our chairman of the board of Enclave Academy, and he had planned to be here tonight, but he had a similar situation to the honoree for Elk Grove High School. He's in Florida. And he said he really wanted to be here tonight, but that didn't quite work. But we're really glad. He was a remarkable contribution. I had him speak about 214 to a group of 250 bankers, lawyers, and business brokers when I was on the board of the Midwest Business Brokers and Intermediaries. He bowled them over with 214 stories. They still talk about that. So for tonight, thank you very much, and congratulations on all your great work.
Next up, if we could have Associate Principal Frank Mirandola from Prospect High School and your honoree, please join us up front.
I'm Frank Mirandola. It's my honor to be one of the building leaders at Prospect High School, and it's my privilege to introduce Dina Patrica to everyone here. Now, at Prospect, we often talk about every night. Every night's included, engaged, and empowered. And a couple of years ago, I was able to kind of talk our band director into naming me the backup to the backup drum major. So if 30 people didn't show up, I was going to be the guy. And I felt really good about that and my skills. However, that dream came to a crashing halt the first time I met Dina. I had the chance to meet Dina for the first time at a opening of the year event in the middle of the stadium. And she was just talking just with so much poise and just like looked so comfortable on the sideline of the track, talking to everyone on the microphone. And anyone that's talked in a stadium on a microphone, no, there's an awkward delay that's really like you got to kind of work through. It didn't bother her in any capacity. And then I found out she herself was a former drum major at Prospect High School, in addition to our new booster president at that time. So I knew my dreams were shot. So that wasn't going anywhere. And I think that one of the things I wanted to kind of just share about Dina is that she's been our booster president for 4 years. And I found out that there's bylaws where you can't just continue to be the booster president. But we're looking to probably change those bylaws because she's just an awesome job. And Lenny was working with us on this earlier, and he said that was going to be okay. So, you know, as a booster president, she has to organize all these other parent groups. I'll be honest, like, she probably feels a little awkward standing up here because we have so many amazing booster parents that help out with our Prospect marching nights. And she is one of the co-presidents that kind of organize everything. And we have people to oversee everything from uniforms to chaperones to loading equipment, moving equipment, event planning, food, you name it. There's a committee and there's a group of people that are doing it. But true to her form, she's like the drum major that kind of controls the section leaders by kind of managing all the different pieces of the operation. And she's really a big-time partner. I mean, to the point where you know she's so valuable that there's times we've had like 6 a.m. phone calls on a Saturday when buses didn't show up. And we're trying to navigate this disaster as we're trying to get to a competition. Or, you know, trying to navigate things with 170 people trying to get to a certain location at 10 o'clock at night. And her tireless coordination is always focused on one thing, the kids. And that's what I truly, truly admire about her. And she truly embodies the three major values of the Prospect Marching Knights, which is the pursuit of excellence, the pride in performance, and building connections. Dina, thank you for embodying these values, and thank you for serving every night.
Next, if Specialized Schools Principal Valerie Norris and your honoree could please join us.
It is my privilege and honor to recognize Cherish Walsh and the entire Basket Brigade for the incredible impact they have had on our community. Their generosity and dedication during the Thanksgiving season have touched countless lives. For the past 3 years, although they've been in business for 10, the Basket Brigade has gone above and beyond to ensure that the families in need at my school, the specialized schools, do not go without a Thanksgiving meal. Through their generosity, they have provided turkeys, side dishes, and even gift cards, allowing our families to share a warm, festive meal together. This simple yet profound gesture embodies the true spirit of Thanksgiving. I highly encourage everyone here to check out their website, basketbrigade.net, to learn more about this organization and to learn how to donate either your time, your money, or your money. And it really has made an impact where my school is 60% free reduced lunch. We hope that they reach their goal this year of supporting over 2,025 families during the 2025 Thanksgiving season. This will feed well over 10,000 people this November. Again, that website is basketbrigade.net. Cherish, you and the entire organization are truly deserving of recognition as a distinguished service nominee. Thank you very much.
Wheeling Principal Hubbard, if you and your honoree could please join us.
Good evening. My name is Bradford Hubbard. I'm incredibly proud to be the principal at Wheeling High School. Much like Mr. Mirandola had mentioned from Prospect, we've got a saying at Wheeling High School. It says, "Make it matter." And we challenge our students and our staff and our community members to go above and beyond and make it matter. And Christine Haidu absolutely embodies everything that we stand for and everything that we want to see in a parent volunteer and in a family. She's the proud parent of 2 children. One is with us tonight. She's in town from Harvard studying applied mathematics. Thank you for being here. And Dan is not here with us tonight. He is preparing for the sectional in speech this evening. That is a big competition. Her 2 children are deeply, deeply involved at Wheeling High School, and because they're so deeply involved, she has gotten deeply involved. For the last 7 years, she's been a staple and the backbone behind both our fine arts programs, but also our math and science programs at Wheeling. She has dedicated her time to organize fundraisers, to do various logistics. She's certainly been helpful on the stage as kids are doing costume changes and organizing all sorts of the logistics behind the scenes. There are few people that spend as much time at school as the Haidu family, and it's always fun to see them involved. She's given her expertise of our math team. She's spent time in our nano lab with our students, and all of this while also balancing a career as a mathematics and computer higher education educator who also travels. And so she has dedicated so much time, so much energy that we are profoundly grateful for everything that she's given and poured into our students. And next year, after Dan graduates this year, I'm certainly hopeful that she knows that the door is always open for her to continue to contribute at Wheeling High School. Her generosity of her time, her expertise, and just her willingness to do anything and everything that needs to get done is absolutely remarkable. So she has certainly embodied the idea of making it matter, and it's my honor to introduce her to you this evening and to thank her for her service of Wheeling.
Right? So much.
So this evening, we have a special guest that we'd like to invite up to say a few words to our honorees and you this evening. Illinois State Representative Michelle Mussman, if you could please join us up front. She has served in the Illinois General Assembly since 2011, representing the 56th District, and is a true friend of District 214. She chairs the Education Policy Committee and serves on committees focused on public health, mental health, housing, and child welfare. A dedicated advocate for education and community well-being, she is involved with WINGS, the Children's Advocacy Center, and the Illinois Congress of Women Legislators. Representative Mussman holds a BS in Design from the University of Cincinnati, is a member of several civic organizations, and lives in Schaumburg with her family. Representative Mussman, please come on up.
Thank you so much for the kind invitation to speak. I was not anticipating this, but I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm in the fan club of many of your honorees, including John Dallas and the Basket Brigade. My office volunteers to help with the deliveries for Basket Brigade, so I am delighted to get to see them get this acknowledgement tonight. Thank you to everybody who was acknowledged here, and honestly to all the people that are not in this room, but also I know are great supporters of our schools. I am so glad that you take the time to acknowledge all the hard work that they put in. It's really and truly something amazing. I know that I would not be in this role, but for the volunteering that I had done in my own school district, so you know, you never know where this is gonna lead you. So think about that, everyone here in this room, girls especially. But again, I just want to give a shout out to 214 also for the great job that they are doing for our kids and in such a challenging environment right now. We're looking forward to partnering with them in this upcoming session as we continue to work on supporting good public schools in the state of Illinois, and we couldn't do it without good volunteers. So thank you and good luck with the rest of your program.
We'd like to invite board member Lenny Walker to provide some closing remarks. So if you would, please do it, sir.
What an evening, huh? It's unbelievable the amount of volunteers that we have across the district, and I'm really proud to stand here to recognize them. You know, as we close out the evening, I just want to take a minute to reflect on what tonight's all about. We've had the honor of recognizing some incredible volunteers. People have given their time, their energy, and heart to support our schools and our students in many meaningful ways. Their contributions remind us that when we step up for our community, we create real change. They've set an example, not just for fellow volunteers, but for our students, showing them that what it means to give back, to invest in others, and to make a difference. To each of our honorees, I say thank you. Your dedication to our schools make us stronger and our community better. We have a tradition when we recognize students that I'd like to do tonight. When we recognize students, we also would like people that are supporting everybody there. So if the families of the honorees would stand. To the families and friends that support all the volunteers, we thank you for giving their time. We know it takes time out of your days and of your lives, and I want you to know that it really makes a difference to everybody. So thanks again for everybody that makes this happen. Thanks for being here tonight.
So that concludes the portion of the District Service Awards, and I'm going to pause the meeting for a few minutes for those that would like to leave, but we'd love to have you stay and listen to our meeting.
I know. I have fatigue. I have fatigue.
Good job, Mr. Marty.
Yeah, it's very nice. Sorry I didn't get here earlier and attend the reception. It's been a long day, however. Yeah. That's very nice.
Okay, we're going to continue with the meeting. And next on the agenda is public comments, and I do have one person that has signed up, and before I call your name, I'm going to read this. The Board of Education and the district value comments from the community at our meetings as well as emails. We appreciate everyone appearing before the board and treat all with courtesy and respect. The Board of Education asks each person to please limit all of their comments to 3 minutes. However, several people want to address the board on similar topics. The board president may limit the time to 2 minutes per person. The public comments agenda item, it will be the only time that the Board of Education will hear public comments during the meetings. Although comments may be made on almost any matter related to the operation of schools, comments will not be allowed identifying individual students or staff members. As this is the Board of Education business meeting, the board practice is not to respond to public questions or comments at this time because this is not an open-ended forum. However, we do listen carefully. If requested, a written response will be provided. Please ensure that Ms. Keys, on my right here, has your full name and address on the sign-up sheet. To be fair and consistent to all addressing the board, the same protocols and procedures must be in place for everyone. The green light indicates your time has started, the yellow light indicates 30 seconds remaining, and the red light indicates 3 minutes have expired. Let me see. Lee Bennett, could you please come forward to the microphone and clearly state your name for the minutes?
I wish to speak to Hello, Superintendent, Board, and staff. I'm Lee Bennett, an MSL sports fan. The graph provided shows a comparison of student interest and participation in sports for both sexes. The interest data is from a 2024 survey of district students. The participation numbers are also from 2024. Interest is shown in the colors pink and light blue. Participation is shown in the darker red and blue. The graph packs a lot of information onto a page. Soccer, on the far left, is the sport with the most student interest. The other sports are listed from left to right by order of student interest. Volleyball has the second most interest. The question this chart attempts to address is how well is student interest accommodated by available participation opportunities? Overall, participation is 42% of the interest found in the survey. So on average, the dark bars are less than half the size of the lighter interest bars. The height ratio also shows how well participation opportunities match student interest. Football is the most accommodated sport, with 70% of the male interest participating. The least accommodated of the gendered sports actually offered is girls badminton at 20%. Boys volleyball is the second least accommodated at 28.5%, the only other offering below 30%. Due to the NBA's marketing acumen, it may surprise you that volleyball has more interest than basketball. This survey of students reveals that girls volleyball is significantly more popular than boys basketball. Boys volleyball has an even greater margin over girls basketball. Girls volleyball and basketball for both genders have 5 teams in the MSL, yet only 3 are provided for boys volleyball. Why does boys volleyball have 60% of the girls basketball teams when it has 151% greater interest? Please add a 4th boys volleyball team. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment, sir. No one else has signed up to speak before the board, so we'll move on. And next on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Rowe.
All right, thank you. Tonight I just kind of wanted to take the opportunity to offer a brief update on our mid-year school improvement planning process. It's a new process we began this year, and I've highlighted that a couple of times prior to tonight. So each building at the onset of the year set goals around academic growth, post-secondary growth, and culture and climate. Over the last few weeks, superintendency members and I have traveled to each of the schools to get an update on their progress with their school improvement teams. Each school dug into the data surrounding their school's performance areas of need, identified thoughtful goals, and then attacked them vigorously and has shown tremendous progress in terms of the processes that they've built to address their need and growth along the way. So I just wanted to highlight and accentuate and commend our principals for their leadership and the great work that they're doing in this area of focused progress and targeted attention on the areas of greatest need. I'm excited to see where they go toward the end of the year. And as a reminder, the purpose of these school improvement plans is to specifically take the larger strategic planning goals and put them into action on a school's individual basis to allow their strategic planning goals to become personalized to each individual school culture and their individual needs. They're doing an exceptional job. I was very impressed with what they've built, as well as the staff support and excitement built around that. Each of them have a large group of staff members that have been engaged in the work, which always makes it more meaningful and impactful when they build a coalition of the willing to come along with them. So just wanted to highlight that work and commend them halfway through the year, and excited to see the progress they've made. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe. Next on the agenda is board member updates. Mr. Dusling, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. A couple weeks ago, I attended probably one of the most emotional student plays that I've seen while on the board. It's called The Orphan Train, and it was done in the Black Box Theater at Hershey in the round. It's a period of history that I really didn't know about, although I've kind of look at history all the time. They're back from about 1860 to 1930. They cleaned out the streets in New York, Boston, and Philadelphia in the orphanages. The police went about the streets picking up students that were, children that were there. They notified the railroad they're going to put them on the trains, and they took them west, and they sent notices to the towns that as they stopped in the town, if the townspeople would like to take a student, take a child for work on the farm, work in the home, or whatever it was, they could do that. If nobody took them, they put them back on a train and went to the next town. They basically were indentured servants, slaves, if you will. And this was 250,000 of these children that went through this process. It's almost unbelievable. At any rate, if you read the book called The Orphan Train, which is very good, I highly recommend it. Make sure you got Kleenex with you. Guitar Day was held at Wheeling High School. There were 120 students there. It's the first one that they held, and guest instructors in mariachi, finger picking, and the blues. It was amazing. The students were so engaged. NJROTC had the Chicagoland drill competition this last Saturday. 14 schools, 14 different units from schools around, even one from Iowa. An all-day-long event. It was very, very nice. Symphonic Band Festival up at Buffalo Grove last week with Buffalo Grove, Hersey, and Wheeling. Not a competition, it's just a chance to show the amazing musical prowess of the students. And then I was at the Arlington Heights Prayer Breakfast on February 6th. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Palmer.
It's always hard to follow Mr. Dussling, but I do have just one quick update. If you're wondering what to do for Valentine's Day this year, consider making a donation to D214's foundation. I'm sure your special someone would love it if you made a donation in their name or in their honor. Who needs roses and chocolates? But serious, all joking aside, it's a way to really show your love for D214 and the work that our foundation does on behalf of our students and staff.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, you have anything? No? Mr. Fiorito?
I'm going to start with the NSSAO. We had our meeting last night, and since the meeting was last night, it was easier for me just to give an update quickly in the meeting. I'll start with the fact that the extended year ESY proposal for 2025 was voted on 7-0. One of the things I was not aware of that besides Kirk undergoing some work this summer, minor is also unavailable due to window replacement, but that will not be the same case next year. I provided everybody, actually thank you Linda Keys, everybody's got a copy of the strategic plan. It's our talking points, so if anybody would like to read them, it's the NSSEO strategic plan. One of the things that I will be having a discussion with Dr. Rowe, because in March we'll be talking about the two-tiered organizational structure that they're proposing. It kind of follows along the lines of some of the other special ed co-ops. NSSEO, which I never knew, is kind of standalone, but they will have a governing board which will oversee an operating board. And I think the operating board is kind of what we have right now, what Lenny served on before and I'm serving on now. They had a public hearing on the NSSEO e-learning plan. They're keeping it open just in case it's something similar like what we had with COVID. Dr. Shore did go on record as saying that she does not see e-learning as an effective alternative for NSSEO students. It was stated the same by two parents who were also board members, but we did had, I won't say a dissenting vote, but a dissenting comment, which made a lot of sense, from a parent who did have a student at Timber Ridge, and she felt that Timber Ridge, it would be one of the three schools that would have some benefit if they did have to go to an e-learning for whatever urgency they would have. The e-learning plan renewal actually passed on a 4-3 vote, which was a little bit surprising. Continuous improvement plan update. This was really good. It was the deaf and hard of hearing program, which I believe Hersey is the representative for 214. They talked a little bit about, for what I thought was important for us, was a lot of collaboration, specialized support for member district students, which I really thought was great. They also talked about the CAPD improvement with our member districts, and that CAPD is Central Auditory Processing Disorders, and that was really good as well. They have a new contract with Foley for new candidates for the school. It's basically looks at their social media, all different platforms, which is good when they're hiring. The 2025-26 NSCCO calendar got passed, looking at final candidates being interviewed this week for the Kirk principal position. One of the things that did get discussed was potential vacancies, and one of the things that was showed in the information they provide us, which I shared with Kara Kendrick earlier today, is their average daily absences in the school. This is daily. This is not the month. The month of January, the average daily absences for the NSSEO schools was 27, which was quite surprising. So that's something that they're looking at. Last but not least, there are 2 items that I will discuss briefly in closed session. As far as any other updates, I as well saw the orphan train bill. It was a very good play. Highly recommend it. And since there were so many in the audience that have obviously left, for those tie-dye people, the Robot Rumble is 21st and 22nd at Rolling Meadows High School. Make sure you got your tie-dye on, and there's some pretty cool stuff happening, just like Wheeling last year. Thank you.
Mr. Heineman?
I was able to go to the NJROTC drill competition at Wheeling also, and it's so rewarding to see so many kids that are so dedicated. I was sorry that I didn't get to see more of the competition. I didn't get into all of the different competitions that were being held simultaneously. And then last Thursday, I was able to also attend the Arlington Heights Prayer Breakfast, and I think I've attended every year for the last 5 years since that first one that I attended. It's amazingly well attended. That room gets just packed, and it is definitely worthwhile. That's end of my report.
Thank you. Just a couple things. For the first time ever, I was a DECA judge over at the regional competition held at Rosemont Convention Center. And I chose the topic of HR. Yeah, I know, Kate, why did I do that? Really it was great to see all the students participating. I also went to District 23. They had a breakfast regarding their third try at a referendum for their addition to their school, and taking the tour of the school. I was amazed at the space that they have there, but they're under the gun for all-day kindergarten and adding additional classrooms. Had an opportunity to go to the co-ed cheer rally where Buffalo Grove was awarded second place. Congratulations to them. And I'm on the executive committee for the Illinois Association of School Boards. And just a couple things, ISB, I think I sent it to all board members. ISB is having listening tours, a couple of them, and I think I sent you the email about where they're at. And also ISB is reviewing the report card, so maybe next year we'll see changes. And you know, Mr. Fiorito, I learned that we were talking about special ed co-ops, and I learned that there are 30 co-ops around the state, and others are superintendent run, which I didn't realize. They didn't have an executive director, it's just the superintendents from the schools get together.
Are you telling me I'm out of a job?
Yeah.
Okay, got the pink slip.
No, I just thought it was amazing, but I didn't know there were just 30 cooperatives. But anyway, so, and a report. So moving on to 911.
Can I forgot to add
I'm
one thing.
glad that ours has an executive director. I don't want to run the special ed co-op, but I am happy about this new structure.
The one thing I failed to mention is we had these recognition awards today, but we also got one on February 23rd in Arlington Heights. They call it the Gold Stars?
Hearts of Gold.
Hearts of Gold. And there are several D214 folks, 5, that are going to be recognized. So if you see anybody you recognize and that are award winners and would like to reach out to them and just say thank you, or basically show up and give them your support as well. Thank you.
Thanks. So moving on to the business of the board, can I have a motion and a second for 911, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Heineman.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Dustling.
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Walker.
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
I'm sorry, carries 6-0.
Thank you. Motion and a second for the approval of 912, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Palmer. Aye. Heineman.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 921, please. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Dustling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Walker.
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Moving on to 931, please. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
After operations? Okay. There's been a motion and a second. Discussion? Call the roll.
Heineman.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Dustling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
A motion and a second for 941, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Discussion? Please call the roll.
Heineman.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Dustling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Alrighty, so we have a couple discussion items here. We have the preliminary budget, 1011. Mr. Keeley, please.
Yes, good evening. So as we are preparing to put together the fiscal year 26 budget for next year, that's the 25-26 school year, we are at our next step here. So this evening we have a discussion item for the preliminary budget guidelines. Next month, on the 13th, we'll have approval of the budget guidelines. So I can walk through these quickly for the board. It's included in your packet as well. At this point, we have some information, but not all the information to put the tentative budget together. We're actively monitoring various processes that are taking place at this point, but just wanted to point out a few highlights. Obviously, our revenue hinges greatly on our tax levy. So, our next tax levy collection for the next fiscal year will be the fall 2024 tax levy collection, which is the second collection there, and then the spring 25 tax levy collection. So that's baked into the budget. The corporate personal property replacement tax, CPPRT, we are at this point anticipating a flat budget for that for next year. We are monitoring the conversation in DC and do acknowledge that there's some instability possibly for federal funding. The timing of the impact is really unknown at this point, but it's certainly on our radar. We obviously monitor our enrollment, and Kate and her team are working on staffing, working through a staffing process. We've got some notes in here. We have collective bargaining agreements that kind of drive a lot of those staffing costs. And then for our food service employees, the non-bargaining, generally speaking, we'll follow CPI, and that's what we put in our long-range financial plans. Of note, in addition, on the expense side, our health insurance, we're at this point anticipating about a 15% increase. And as I say that, it's tough to even come out of my mouth, but as we look at the history of our insurance here in 214, between years of 2018 and 2023, the market went up about 38%. The market that we look at. And in that same time, 214 went up about 8%. We had a couple years where we had a zero increase. And I know, Mr. Dustling, you've been on the insurance committee for that. So while it's not the easiest number, again, to spit out here to you, it is important to recognize that the program has been working significantly better than the market. So this is kind of a reckoning for the plan. Kelly and team are working with the insurance committee, and we're looking at some changes potentially for the plan to try and slow some of that growth down. In addition, we've included our costs for special education. We just talked about an SSCO. Kara and her team are actively monitoring, down to the day really, the transportation and tuition costs, and that's really helped us in terms of understanding where we're going to be next year. In addition, we have seen some significant savings in transportation so far this year, and we anticipate more through some of our efficiencies, providing great service to our students, but finding efficiencies to make sure that our buses are running at optimal loads. And then we have a couple notes in there just about transfers for operation and maintenance to ensure that we're funding our capital projects into the next year. We'll do the same as we did last year and do our calculations in terms of fund balance in those funds and do a fund transfer at the June board meeting. That's all I have for now. Again, we're staying at about 50,000 feet. I'm happy to answer questions. We will be bringing this same document back next month for approval, and then bringing, for board approval, we are bringing, oh goodness, I closed that. Well, it's the June board meeting for the tentative budget.
Yep, thank you. Board members, questions, please. Mr. Dessling?
Under revenue, the sixth bullet down where you mentioned instability of federal funding in relationship to the new administration. What's our approximate percentage of dollars that we get through grants, programs, and whatever else from the federal government?
It's in single digits, and so just so you know, we've been working with Marcella Zip, Dr. Zip, in our grant department, and she's been monitoring this for us. Again, we put it here. At this point, it's anyone's guess, of course, what's going to happen, but she has a lot of experience in this area, and the latest that we have from her is the impact most likely would not be felt in the coming fiscal year, but again, we are actively monitoring.
When you say the lower percentage, are you talking 9% or 2%?
I don't have that off the top of my head. I can get that for you.
Okay, I'd like to know that, just so I can kind of keep up.
It's fluctuated significantly as the ESSER 3 funding comes down. It'll go back to normal levels.
Yeah.
But I will get that for you.
But if you could do that for maybe just a couple of years, just to see what it looks like, that'd be nice.
Board members?
Well, just following up on Mr. Dessling, the levy is the levy. So in our cost of operating, our cost of operating. So if we don't have federal funding, then what happens? If that, do we cut what happens there?
Well, our federal contributions really lives in our title grants. And title grants, 3 of our schools are title schools. That money is dedicated to supplement what the local budgets cannot manage due to the socioeconomic status of those buildings. The other title money is dedicated to EL support as well as some of our professional development. So in terms of the federal government, what we know is they've primarily been targeting any diversity, equity, and inclusion work federal dollars are being used for. So Dr. Zip and I met late last week, and I asked that she run an analysis on anything in terms of our diversity, equity, and inclusion work that are being paid for by federal dollars so that we can reallocate those dollars using local funds and not federal funds to ensure that our work continues, but at the same time, we're using the appropriate funds and don't risk losing any federal dollars. So we're doing everything that we can to be proactive so that should the time come and the question be asked, what are we using our federal funds for, that nothing that this administration is deeming these federal funds being inappropriate for, one, will be felt any differently by our staff or our students, and 2, we can maximize those federal dollars, even though it's a small percentage of our overall budget.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Another discussion item is 10.1.2. Is that Mr. Keeley or Dr. Rose? Okay, Mr. Keeley.
Yes, indeed. I'm back. So this evening, we're going to have a discussion. Just to remind the board, we've talked about this. The Director of Food Nutrition Services, Christine Froley, is retiring this year after a long and storied career in food service. And the administration is looking at all opportunities moving forward. So we want to make sure that if there's an opportunity for us to seek different methods of delivery that will result in better product, better program for our students, we're going to look at it. That includes everything from what we're going to be sharing with you tonight to business as usual, which is a direct hire for that position. So I'm going to start by talking about, we did publish the RFP as discussed. We had 4 vendors show up at our pre-bid walkthrough, and we received 3 proposals from those vendors, all of which are qualified and have significant operations locally. Want to start by recognizing the folks that are on our Food Service Review Committee. We do have members of the district level administration, building administration. We have a teacher from Elk Grove who's shown significant interest in this program. She's actually a consumer science teacher and has shared a lot of information from her students on this, so really interested to get her perspective. And then we have two of our existing food service managers. We have Francis from Prospect and Marcy here from Forest View. So just a quick overview of what our program entails. Most of you already know this. We do serve breakfast, lunch, and have an extensive vending program in the district here. There's also some catering that's done through the food service department. As far as our staffing right now, we have the Director of Food and Nutrition Services, as I mentioned, she is currently a member of the admin supervisor group, and she is retiring this year. We have a food and nutrition services record clerk. She actually works in this building here in that department. And then as far as building-based staff, you have a nutrition services manager, one in each building, and those two of them are on our committee that I mentioned before. And then you have your school nutrition workers, your cooks and chefs and servers that work in the department. Just so you know, they're all direct district employees at this point. Any discussion we have tonight would only focus on the position that's being vacated through the retirement. As a reminder, we're not currently on the National School Lunch Program. As a high school district, that offers us additional flexibility with the menu and ingredients. It does reduce our federal funding, but that is offset by the opportunity to sell more meals. So, not to get too big into the data here, but I did want to show, we on an annual basis, we do a survey of our students, and these are kind of the four major concerns that students have when looking at our food program. They're looking for taste, they're looking for nutritional value, quality, and they're also really interested in price. They want value for what's on their plate. So when we're looking through these RFP documents, these are the things we're looking for. We're looking for healthy meals. We're looking for appealing taste, a good variety of foods, and then an access for all students. That really speaks to that price and value. One of the things in doing the walkthrough and having conversations with these vendors is, yes, we're not on a National School Lunch Program. We still provide free and reduced meals for our students, right? And so we want to ensure that there isn't significant differentiation on the plate, that our students, regardless of what their capability to pay is, they're receiving the best meal possible. And then as far as operational requirements, I think I've already said it 3 times, I'm going to say it again, we just to retain our staff. The one position that is for consideration here is that director. It's an admin soup position. And then, of course, we want to ensure financial solvency. The goal here is to improve what's coming out on the plate. We're not necessarily saying that things aren't good now. We're just saying we want to make sure that the path forward offers our students the best options possible. If we're putting out a superior product, then we're going to sell more. That revenue can then be reinvested into the food service program, whether it be in the serving line, the equipment, et cetera. And then this also slide came from that student survey, and I'm going to purposely leave it up so everyone can see it, but really hammering home the importance of our staff. Our students see it. Some of the comments there from our students through that survey, say what you want about the food, they really value that staff. And so in going through this process, Dr. Rowe and I have had many conversations over the past many months about this, and I know the board has had discussion as well. It is so important that we're clear that this isn't about our folks, this is about the program, and we have every intention to retain all of those direct employees because clearly there's something in our program that is really working for us. That's really all I have at this point. I'd be happy to answer questions. Just so the board is aware, I'll be back a month from now, potentially, with a recommendation from the administration. Between now and then, we're going to be taking tours at the finalists. We have our finalists from the process. Mr. Maggi has joined me as well to help with that, and so we're going to be going to peer districts to taste the food, get a formal presentation, and essentially kick the tires and see what they're all about. And then we will proceed with negotiating with the chosen finalists. The hope is the committee can come to consensus, and then we'll negotiate an appropriate contract to bring back to the board for consideration next month. And that's all I have.
Who are some of the peer districts?
Some of the peer districts. So I'm going to be very careful because we do have an open solicitation right now, and I want to respect the vendors that are involved. But I will say that.
How about we get you a list and not do it publicly so we don't violate our
Sounds
process.
good to me.
But I'll get you a list tomorrow and notes.
But there are other school districts that.
All around us in this general vicinity.
That's my
Yes,
point.
all around
Sharing
us.
borders with several of them, yes,
I
indeed.
just necessarily don't need to know the names, but
Yes.
this is not unique to District 214.
No, we're happy to provide you with a list of who we're going to see.
Okay, board members, questions? Mr. Dustling?
Mr. Kelly, thank you very much for showing the service aspect there. To me, whenever I visit the high schools, I usually stop by the cafeteria, just to say hello and thank them for what they do. That's so important, the relationship that they have with the students, that they feel good about going to the cafeteria. Certainly the food taste and revenue and everything is important, but the relationship of those people who are part of us, as you will, and not part of somebody that's coming in to be plopped there, is critical to my way of thinking. So I'm delighted to hear that the focus is definitely on keeping those people that are there. If there has to be some changes in the management and some menu things, whatever it is, these people can handle it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
I have a couple questions, just to set the table so I get caught up here. It's been kind of fuzzy being in my real job for a few weeks here. So with this program, we're really looking to get a management company in to help improve and embellish the menus that we have, leverage the costs that we're getting throughout all of the procurement, and take care of our employees that are currently with us, right? There is nothing on the table that I'm aware of that we're replacing anybody, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So with that, there's a lot of efficiencies, in agriculture and horticulture, floriculture, there are a lot of efficiencies that are gained by these new companies that are popping up because of the scale of mass that they do, right? When you look at nutritionists and you look at everything, we just went through it with all the tariffs that were supposedly going to happen, right? Mexico, Canada. When you look at the amount of produce that comes out of Mexico and Canada, it is huge on the U.S. So I'm in favor of this because that higher foot view is going to give us a better program to push down to the kids. As we all know, it is expensive to eat healthy. So I'm all for this. I think there's nothing stopping us. When you look at the peer districts, although I don't have the list in front of me, I support it. I've talked to other parents that are in school districts that have it, and it's a grand thing. I know there is some hesitation because it's like, it's going to standardize the food or make it like corporate America, blah food. That's not what I've seen. And I will tell you, from my vantage point from the floriculture side of business, right, there's a lot of jobs involved here. So these specialty companies are coming in and really making a difference here. And I think if we get on this, we're a couple years late, but I think it's time to go. And I respect the fact that we did not displace anybody. But if it's a retirement, I think we got to look outside the box and say, what are we going to do with this? Thank you.
Board members? Okay. Thank you. We are now at the point of the agenda to go into closed session. I need a motion and a second to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in an educational setting, or legal counsel for the public body, and student discipline. Please, motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
We will be, there will be action after closed session, for those of you who want to stick around. You anticipate?
A little while.
Oh, a little while, okay. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Palmer.
Aye.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Dustling. Heineman.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye, thank you.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Oh, good. Okay, we are now back in open session. So can I have a motion for the first item, personnel transaction report?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the personal transaction reports for February 13th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Dessling?
Yes.
Palmer?
Aye.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
Kreutzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Next on the approval is 1212, please.
Motion to approve modifications to the job descriptions?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Call the roll.
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
Kreitzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. A motion and a second for 12-1-3, please.
I move to expel the student in discipline case 2425-9 for violation of School Board Policy 7:190, student behavior, for prohibited student conduct of endangering the health or safety of students, staff, or school property. Such expulsion to last from now through February 13th, 2027.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Call the roll.
Palmer?
Aye.
Heineman?
Aye.
Dustling?
Aye.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Motion and a second, please, for 12-1-4.
I move to expel the student in discipline case 24-25-10 for violation of School Board Policy 7:190, student behavior, for prohibited student conduct of endangering the health or safety of students, staff, or school property from now through February 13th, 2027.
I second that.
There's been a motion and a second, any discussion? Call the roll.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Dustling?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
And Kreitzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. A motion and a second, please, for 12-1-5.
I move to expel student discipline case number 24-25-11 for violation of School Board Policy 7:190, student behavior, for prohibited student conduct of endangering the health or safety of students, staff, or school property through February 13th, 2027.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Walker?
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Dustling?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Kreitzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Dustling?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman? Palmer?
Aye.
Kreitzer?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. We are adjourned.